Cane farmers from northern Belize drew their line in the sand on Sunday in Corozal, and this morning, BSI and its majority shareholder ASR drew theirs. While those lines aren't yet penned in indelible ink, they may as well be, since both sides aren't budging from the stances they have taken. For cane farmers, the issue is simple. They deliver the cane which ends up as bagasse. BSI makes money off that bagasse, so cane farmers want a piece of the pie. For BSI, the issue is also simple. They invested the time and money to bake that pie, so they want it all.
The issue here is that we don't feel that since the farmers had no risk, did not put any money into Belcogen, have not invested into Belcogen, the product of electricity, which is a result of the $130 million Belize investment by BSI, should not go to anyone else but BSI. That's just pure business fairness, and that's what we call it.
So with that position out front and center, BSI is now trying to get past an impasse which shows no signs of breaking down. The situation is actually dire, since a delay in crop, or worse, no crop at all, would have serious repercussions for BSI, farmers, the industry, and the country.
If crop is delayed, or if there's no crop, the price is huge for many, many people. There's 35,000 Belizeans that depend on this industry in the northern region. I repeat, 35,000. That's 12% of the Belizean population. It's a huge impact. A delayed crop will also send a wrong message to our customers in Europe, basically that neither BSI or Belize is a reliable source of sugar supply. Sugar is sold on futures contract deliveries, and if deliveries are not met, again, customers will be very, very upset, and that has a price, and it will impact the farmers ultimately. If fair trade sugar is not, the 65,000 tons that are earmarked for this crop are not met, again, the fair trade market will have to go elsewhere.
There is cane right now on the ground that is ready for harvest, and therefore delaying the crop will affect in particular those farmers, because not all farmers are ready to start the crop. So not all farmers are equally affected, but those farmers who are ready, who have cane ready to start the crop and have mature cane that is ready for deliveries, those are the farmers who would particularly be hurt by any unnecessary delay of the crop.
Cane is a perishable item, as we all know. Cane has to be harvested in specific windows and cycles. Also have to be replanted within the proper cycle. If there's a delay in crop, 1, 2, 3 months, or no crop, you can imagine the impact of next year's crop. There will be standover cane. Standover cane dries up, dehydrates. There's little sugar coming out of that. It's only going to be fiber, basically, a year from now, the cane that is not ground. It's a ripple effect. I want to make sure that you all understand that this is a serious problem, not to be taken lightly.
The impact is not just on BSI or the farmers. It is really, as was made mention at the end of the press statement, it is really the wider macroeconomic impact on Belize that is of concern. There's also the banking situation. You know, the banks, our farmers are committed to the banks. The banking situation will have an effect on that as well. So it is really that broader picture of as it is, the country will be impacted because the inflows of sugar money will be delayed.
If it looks like representatives from BSI and ASR are taking the situation very seriously, they are. Even a delay of a few weeks will result in a loss of millions of dollars.
In 6 weeks, in the last 3 crops, farmers delivered about an average of about 180,000 tons of cane. If you take that average and say that that is what we would lose in 6 weeks, I'm just putting in perspective what can be done in 6 weeks from the time that the crop starts. At the price that we have gone out as a first estimated price for the 2014 crop, you're looking at close to $8 million in terms of what comes into the economy.
Against the backdrop of that tremendous potential loss of revenue, BSI says that there is no justification in a delay to the crop season, and no need for threats or intimidation.
Going back to the table and negotiations is the way to go. We can reach an agreement on the commercial agreement, and continue to disagree on the bagasse and agree to disagree on the bagasse, as we have mentioned. And they continue the avenue of the courts, and there will be a crop. And I think that's the prudent thing to do. I think it's a logical thing to do. It's a business-like thing to do. And it's the humane thing to do for 35,000 family members out there.
No doubt the BSCFA is fully aware of all those repercussions and are still holding on to their hard line, as is BSI. So realistically, what can be expected in the weeks ahead?
I would only hope that within perhaps the ranks of the members themselves, that they would realize that there's a much bigger thing at stake than just the expectation on the bagasse payment, which is in dispute, and that there is an opportunity to discuss how that may be approached, and in the event that we cannot reach an agreement, how we might be able to take it further, and all that without prejudice.
We hope that happens in the next few weeks, is that common sense, good intent takes over. And what we hope is that deliveries take place. And what we hope is that a crop starts as soon as possible, as soon as weather allows it. And that's what we hope. And that's what we're trying to work towards. We're ready to continue working towards that goal. And that's what we're hoping for. What is going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen, because it's two parties here. And as the saying goes, it takes two to tango.
The BSCFA has stated that it is not interested in dancing a tango with BSI, but in reaching a serious and beneficial agreement on bagasse. Mike Rodon for News 5.